Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Closing Comments here on October 20th. Let's jump right into our charts and see we kicked off week 42. First up, we got our December live cattle on the board. Today we did see some pretty good recovery efforts by the bulls as this market balanced out inside Friday's range. Bears really failed to get any follow-through selling pressure here, so looking like this market is going to shake off that bad news here at the moment. This market trading here down early towards Friday's low, but good support down there with the low of the day coming in at 241.5, failing to get any breakdown here below that bear pivot. Throughout the rest of the day, we did see this market just kind of balancing back up, getting a nice push back up into these highs. At the moment, pretty solid close there at the end of the day, finishing at 243.67. At the moment, we are still trading now back above that bull pivot there at 243. If we get some early bids rolling tomorrow and the bulls try and attack today's high up there at 245.27, looks like this market could recover faster than we were expecting. I'm just going to take it day by day here at the moment, as we could still see a few more wiggles here as this market digests this recent volatility. But at the moment, really good buyer support here and at all the right places. Looking like the bulls could shake this one off and start heading back towards these all-time highs. This, if you look at over the last couple weeks of action, this was just a pretty minor pullback here into this big run-up we've seen over the past 2 weeks. We did have about 10 or 11 days worth of upside here with just a pretty minor pullback if you're looking at the charts here from the big picture view. Looking like we're seeing good support. Bulls are going to look to turn this thing back around. We could see some continued volatility if there is any more news announcements, but at the moment, looking like the bulls are staying strong here, and we could see these new all-time highs coming back to us pretty soon. We did see a little bit more weakness out here into these 2026 contract months with some of these spring and summer months trading down below Friday's low. However, and also pulling back and touching that 20-day moving average. Once again, though, we are seeing good buyer support at some of these prior swing highs as well as that 20-day moving average. So still seeing all very good signs, good supportive signs here as the buyers are continuing to step in and keep this market held up following Friday's big breakdown. At the moment, looking like the bulls are going to try and turn this thing back up towards those highs. If we continue to get some bids above today's high, we should see this thing start to climb back up towards the 240s, high 240s, and 250s. So look for more upside to come here as long as we don't get any more breakdowns below Friday's low. Next up, we got our November feeders on the board. Feeders had a little bit more volatility here today, briefly undercutting Friday's low, but good recovery efforts pushing all the way back up towards 375 at the high of the day here on this November contract. We didn't get back above Friday's high or that bull pivot there at 375.70, but pretty solid recovery here as well from this feeder market. Good flush down below Friday's low, showing good buying activity down there as the bulls woke back up and started pushing this thing back up here into Friday's range. At the moment, we did have a pretty strong close here, and we could see this market start to climb with these equal highs right here between today and Friday's high. Bids above there, we should see the bulls try and close this gap and head back up there into the 380s and potentially new all-time highs. Same story over here in the feeders. These back months were a little bit weaker, some of them dipping down and actually finishing negative on the day, but good recovery nonetheless here as we did see nice pushback up off of those lows, showing the bulls are defending some of these lower prices and going to try and support here as this 20-day moving average is climbing up into price. We could still see a little bit more volatility here, but at the moment it looks like the bulls are stepping in and showing their strength. Big picture uptrend still remains intact. We could see higher prices here in the near term as long as this market continues to digest this recent breakdown in a healthy way here early this week. We'd like to see some bids above these prior day highs, and we should see pretty smooth sailing back up towards those all-time highs. Next up, December corn futures. Today was a pretty choppy day, coming down, or price selling off just a little bit off that opening range. However, good recovery efforts there as price pushed back up, finishing the day at the highs right around the 424 mark. At the moment, this market just continues to be pretty sticky in this 410 to 430 range, not really expecting a whole lot of directional movement. If we do get some early bids above 425 here as we head into tomorrow's session, we could see the bulls try and attack the top end of this range closer to the 430 mark. But at the moment, price has just been pretty sticky here between 420 and 425, so not really expecting a whole lot of big volatile moves at the moment. Look for this market to remain pretty sticky in this 410 to 430 range. Crude oil prices had a nice sell-off here early today. However, like Friday's action, we did see a good pushback up off of that 56 level. Briefly undercutting Friday's low, but coming back up and finishing the day back up near those highs. If we look back here to these current year's low that we put in back here in April and early May, We did see pretty good buyer pushback up out of this $55 level, and that's kind of what we're seeing here at the moment. We have ran down here towards the mid 50s and a pretty quick move here over the last couple of weeks, given the recent lack of volatility in the crude oil markets. So at the moment, this market is a little bit extended. Good pushback up off of these lows, long wicks here showing a good pushback by the buyers from down at these mid 50s levels. We could see a little bit of a relief rally come into play here if we get some bids above this 57.32 level and today's high up there at 57.43. Bids above there, we should see this market try and climb back up here into the high 50s, potentially the $60 mark. We do have these declining moving averages coming down into here, where we should see the bears start to step in and offer more selling pressure. Any rally should be sold into here at the moment, as we do have a big picture downtrend still intact. However, if we don't get any bids above these prior day highs, look for this just slow, steady bleed down here into the low 50s continue. Equity markets had a pretty nice recovery here today. Following 2 weeks ago, we had that pretty nasty day on Friday when we had some tariff talk about China. Last week, we had really good recovery efforts as this market is traded in a pretty big wide range inside that prior Friday's candle. And then so far here, bulls are jumping out to a nice strong start, getting some early bids above that bull pivot there at 67.18, which was Friday's high. Good rally here above that 20-day moving average, finishing above last week's high. Really good sign for the bulls here, looking like it should be pretty smooth sailing up into new all-time highs. Here at the moment, we're only about 30 points off of an all-time high here on the S&P. The NASDAQ is also within spitting distance here as we have chewed all the way through Friday's range, that big breakdown Friday's range. Just also about 30 points off that all-time high at the moment. And the Dow also completely cleaning up and getting a nice strong close above that prior week's high, as well as the tariff day breakdown here from the 10th of the month, getting a close above that prior Friday's high. So that's a big win here in these Dow stocks. We should see with that strong close here today, we should see some money flow into these indexes and get these indexes pushing up into new all-time highs. Should be pretty smooth sailing. Lots of good setups here under the surface on some of these big components. So looking like this market is going to be marching back into those all-time highs here in no time. So look for the upside to continue. And that's all we got for this evening. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night. Have a good one.